14th Street.
Eric Morris, first-year head coach at the University of North Texas, joins us on 365 Sports. Paul Catalina, and I'm David Smoak. Thanks to Taylor Bryan for getting this set up as well. Eric, thank you, Coach Morris, for being a part of the show. What is the identity of your football team right now?
Close. Close.
Yeah.
Close to being able to pull a lot of these out. And so I think that we're definitely in a building stage, building a foundation for the future around here. But, we got no quit in this. Seen a lot of resolve. Our guys are fighting for 4 quarters, and but we're just not consistent enough right now to pull out a couple of these, and especially moving to the American Conference. It's been better schedule, challenging schedule, but we're right there. Right there with Tulane, right there with Memphis, and I have chances to win both of those games at the end. So yeah, we're growing, we're getting better. We got a bunch of good young players that are making plays and growing for us.
When you look at what you set expectations for a season, how do you do that as a head coach in your first year?
Yeah, hard to do. I think there's a bunch of unknown until you get into battle with these guys, and so yeah, it's been interesting to see it unfold. I've learned a lot throughout the course of this year, both good and bad, and so I think that we got a long ways to go to get to where we want to be and to compete for championships at this level in this new conference. But I think that we're probably the scariest 3 and 5 team in the nation right now, and but I don't want to be known as that, right? That's not something I want to be known as. I'd rather flip the script on that and find a way to win some of these games.
You have shown some resiliency. I know not quite enough of the W's in the win-loss column. UTSA had the really heartbreaking loss to Houston. They lost at Tennessee, which of course. Jeff Traylor doesn't say that's expected, but Tennessee was better. Army got them, and I think that one still bothers him as much as anything else. What do you see from them? Because they finally have Frank Harris healthy and back.
I think you just hit the nail on the head right there. Is when you got him at the realm, it's a really good ball club. And it is, anyways. I just thought, just for a kid that's played 7 years and seen every defense possible. A guy that's just done it at a high level for so many years, and see the growth of Frank. I played against him when we were at UIW early in his career, and he just night and day. I mean, he relied on his athleticism back then a lot more, and he's become more of a complete quarterback now. I mean, just anticipation, accuracy. I mean, all those things, just team leadership. So, I think he makes that team go. Although, obviously they have good football players. I think, their defense is stout. They got really aggressive and good front seven. Added some transfers on the back end that I think are playing at a high level right now. So an aggressive defense. So yeah, I think that this is a team that just seems like Frank's been there forever. Jeff's done a fantastic job of kind of building a culture down there, and they find ways to win. They're gritty. And so, yeah, it'll be a tough challenge. And I know, this team here that I'm coaching now has had some battles with them the last, 5 or 6 years. Mm-hmm. And so I haven't been a part of those, but I look forward to joining in on this game coming up this weekend.
Coach, in the new era of college football where, you have a 12-team playoff coming next year, you have the transfer portal available to you in a way that it wasn't before, in that there's a lot of opportunity to add talent that you wouldn't have even gotten a chance to call in the past. You're in Denton, Texas. You've got a great stadium that you play in that is very easy to find, too, by the way. I've been there several times, and I remember trying to give somebody directions that said, listen, you will not miss it. You are not going to get lost on your way to this place, which is in DFW a great asset to have. Plus the recruiting area. For a school like North Texas, you normally couldn't say all these great things because, it was 4 teams in the playoff and that's it. But in the new era, how much brighter is the future for a school like North Texas?
Yeah, I think so. I think, just with us moving to this conference, and just we got to continue to build our national brand, and then we got to make it cool for kids to want to come here and come back home to play here. And I think a part of that's winning football games and being a part of those winning cultures. And so it's something we didn't go heavy in the portal this last year. Got a couple pieces here and there, some guys that are playing really well for us right now. But I think it'll always be it'll be a heavy dose of both for us. We're going to continue to sign, big high school classes and develop kids. I think this will always be a developmental program. But we're not going to ignore the portal at all. I mean, we're going to be able to definitely, hit the portal after this season and the window coming up and be able to find, the one thing that's noticeable for me now that we've gotten in this conference is we're a lot smaller than these other teams. And that's on both sides of the ball. And so I think, that'll be a huge emphasis for us moving forward is we got to get bigger, longer bodies, up here. And it's been super evident, especially as we've gotten into these conference games.
Let me ask you this, Eric. Is it more important now to recruit your own roster or those who are about to join your roster coming out of high school?
Yeah, same answer there. I mean, I think it's a heavy dose of both. It just is what it is. At some point it's going to fickle out just because of the fact that, we had 5 or 6 kids that, left here last year that were all conference, and the majority of them aren't playing at all. We got guys that are all Americans here and they're going in and they're probably making a little bit of money, but, they're not playing football. And so I think at some point, kids will start seeing that and the opportunity to play and the NFL is going to find you wherever you are. But I think a bunch of people have hurt their chances, that left this program that we're going to play key parts to this. And so, the timing of it, bothers me a little bit. Just the fact that, a kid can go through spring with us and then, a bigger school might have an injury and come recruit one of our kids off our roster for depth. And so, I don't think that's a good way to do business, but it is what it is. You better adapt to the times or you'll get left behind. So, yeah, I think, these rosters are so fluid this day and age. And so I think, you just have to be recruiting more volume of players, both portal and high school kids and your roster, all three, I guess.
I was at Big 12 Media Days. I was talking to Chris Pesman, the athletic director at Houston, about this. And I mentioned him, I said, and I'm curious because you are in a major metropolitan area. Houston is, Cincinnati is, a lot of schools are. And now with the way that, like I mentioned before, that college football is changing, schools in major metro areas might have more of an advantage than they realize with the transfer portal, in that you've got kids that might go off to, say, A&M or Arkansas or something like that and then be homesick for DFW. Is that an advantage that you guys might have in the transfer portal of being one of the big schools in that area?
Yeah, but I still think it plays second fiddle to money. And so I think money's number one, and that's the way a bunch of these guys are able to capitalize on when these kids get in the portal and people want to say it's not happening. I mean, it's happening at an alarming rate as these kids are, offered a ton of money to go somewhere and that's influencing the decision. So, and same thing, I don't foresee that going away anytime soon. So it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and complain about it. We better find a way to combat it and to be able to continue to build our roster every year. But yeah, I think that, obviously, location has something to do with it. But I think, like it's been for years, I think that plays second fiddle to people putting some money in these kids' pockets.
Let me ask you, if you don't mind this question, if you're recruiting a player, no matter where he is, and the first thing he brings up to you, the first question he asks you about is NIL, what do you say?
Yeah, and I just try to direct that. I mean, we have a different, party that kind of handles all of the NIL function here that I have no affiliation with. And so, just tell them that, hey, there's somebody that can answer that question. That's not me.
Right. I understand. Yeah, I get that disconnect.
But no, it's definitely a turn off. Like it's not, I'm a little bit old school still in the fact that, that I believe college football is about, going out with your brothers on Saturdays and making plays. Now, am I all for these kids making some money? Absolutely. Like, I'm not against that at all. And to be able to, I even wish they would do some revenue share stuff with them. But yeah, I mean, I think that, it's quickly becoming the have and have not. But at the same time, people are putting together great football rosters of kids that love to play football. And so I think the model's changing. But too, I mean, on that same note, you're seeing a bunch of people that, have some really talented rosters out there that aren't winning football games. And so, I think it's a little bit of a double-edged sword when you start dealing with all of the components that go in with, these guys making a lot of money.
Eric Morris, head football coach at North Texas. They have UTSA coming up this weekend. You took this job knowing that they had come off a bowl game, but there was a change because UNT wanted something better. And you took it also knowing that they're about to change conferences and the American has gotten bigger, better, faster, and stronger. What does that say about you and your competitive desire and the fire you have in your belly?
Yeah, whenever I lose that fire, I'm definitely going to find something else to do. I mean, I think this these last 4 or 5 weeks has put about 10 years on me so far. Just because I hate losing so much, and we're so close, but yet we're so far right now. And so, just the obviously being the leader of this program, just trying to figure out, what it is that can get us over the hump right now. And so, tirelessly working towards it. Our coaches are as well. And there's a bunch of things that go into it, as you know, and that starts, with obviously developing our players are here. It starts with recruiting to match the talent level in this conference, and starts with us just getting these kids a little bit tougher, both physically and mentally. And so, so some of these things take time. I'm not a patient individual, and so it bothers me every single day. But yeah, we'll work crazy at it, and I think definitely with everything you said, with our location, with the ability of having the portal there to kind of flip a roster, which we don't need much right now.
Right.
We don't at all. I mean, we got some guys that are playing at an extremely high level, and so we need to continue to get those guys better while we add a couple pieces here and there, and I think this thing can flip in a hurry.
Eric, you were at Washington State, and we appreciate your time. I know you got other things to do. You were at Washington State for the 1 year. Just getting a chance to be there, that fan base, Pullman, the program, Dickel, and what was it like, you think, for them when now they are in a position where they don't know their future? How much of a gut punch do you think it is to that program?
Oh, I know how much it is. I have a lot of friends there, a lot of kids I recruited there. And so this doesn't seem right, with the history of that place, with what they've been able to do, just with that town. I mean, it's a small blue collar place that, literally shuts down on Saturdays to go watch the Cougs play. I mean, just an incredible amount of pride that university has, that the alumni have. And just to think that they're not going to be able to play in the Apple Cups anymore, that they're not going to be able to, play with all these Pac-12 schools is just, I mean, it's ludicrous to me. I mean, the fact, and I think I think here in 5 to 7 years, I think it'll all flip back when everybody really looks at it and some of this stuff settles down. The NCAA tends to have these huge pendulum swings and
Mm-hmm.
without thinking things through and slowly moving towards new models like, hey, let's not play the players at all. And then, oh, okay, here we go. Let's pay them whatever you can afford to pay them. And then, hey, they can't transfer it all. Now, hey, let's open it up portal. They can transfer when they want. And so, like, I just think that once these pendulum swings happen, everything happens so fast. And then over time, they'll say, hey, this wasn't a very good idea. And so I think eventually, it'll go back to some regional stuff. Now, it might be that Power 5 football breaks off from the NCAA. I could definitely see that happening here in the near future. But yeah, just for a little town that is so unique, and the fans, the spirit there, the way you walk through, airports all over the country recruiting, you get Go Cougs. It's something that's special about that. And I feel for those guys. It's sad for a great university to be able to think, hey, they're not going to be involved in those games and probably going to be in the Mountain West here in the near future.
Last thing, and I said that before, I just want to make the comment. We saw Lake Ridge play against Midway in a game up at the Cotton Bowl a few years back, and lightning and weather eventually ended that game before halftime. But you got a good one. You know that in Chandler Rogers, and what a year he's had.
Yeah, he's been a stud. He gives us a chance every game, tough as nails. Great competitor. Can beat you with his arm, can beat you with his legs, can beat you with his brain. Great combination. So glad we have him on our side right now.
Appreciate your honesty, and also good luck, Eric. We're rooting for you. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Have a great day.
You too. That's Eric Morris, the head coach at North Texas.